Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Judy Tuttle with Tuttle Up Stamping. I'm here today to talk to you about another Thursday Tuttle tip. I'm glad you can join me. I'm going to show you some embossing folders that are called hybrid embossing folders. And so not only do they emboss, but they die cut with the dies. You can use the embossing folder alone, or you can use the dies alone, or you can put them together for some really cool effects. So I had a customer come over yesterday who had won a hybrid embossing folder at an event, and she was like, I have no idea how to use these. So I thought I'd start with that. And then secondly, I'm going to show you a quick tip on how to sorry, my computer's telling me something's wrong, but I think we're okay. How to die cut intricate dies and get a really good effect with that. So I want to show you that as well. I'm going to go ahead and move everything down to my hands here. If you come on, let me know you're here. I love when people chat with me, so I know people are watching. So, okay. So 2 weeks ago, I did an online class to go using these Mediterranean blooms, citrus blooms bundle, the Mediterranean blooms suite, and they were super awesome cards. This one was a stand-up easel card. This one was a really simple card using the blues tile looking paper and some blends, and this was another very simple card using that awesome frame with the lemons there. And I'm cutting for these packets today, so I wanted to give anybody that wanted to get the card kit to make 2 of each of these cards. I can't do the stamping for you, but everything else will be done for you. And all the pieces will be cut. The kits will be put together. Envelopes included, mailed to you to your door. And then you can watch the Facebook Live again and put your cards together. If you would like a card kit for the Mediterranean Blooms card class, you need to place a $30 order today or tomorrow, because I'm getting these kits out this weekend. I've sold quite a few, so since I'm cutting, I want to make sure that you can order them if you want one. Hi, Cindy. I love that you're here. Thanks for joining me. All right, so what we're talking about today is hybrid embossing folders, okay? So we have 2 newish hybrid embossing folders that just came out. I'm going to show you both. The first one is the Seaside Wishes. So it comes with this awesome embossing folder that has the sand dollars on it, right? So you can emboss. It also comes with these awesome dies that cut out the sand dollars and the starfish and the small starfish and even some coral there and some seaweed, which is awesome. But the cool thing is that if you wanted to, you could put these 2 together and get some really cool techniques. So this is one of the newer ones that's available right now. This one is currently on sale for $42.25 with the sale that we have going on. I am doing a special craft along Facebook Live with me next month, and this is the bundle that we're using. If you think you would like to craft along with me in a class that's going to be live next month, this would be a great bundle to buy right now while it's on sale, so that you can get it for the absolute lowest price, okay? Now, I want to show you what kind of sparked my brain for this today is that I've been working on some swaps. I've signed up for some swaps using the new online exclusives that are coming out next month for everyone. I think it's July the 8th, maybe. It might be sooner than that. But this is a set that's called Changing Leaves. Changing Leaves. So you get this awesome, very intricate leaf design, some great sentiments there. But it also comes with an awesome hybrid embossing folder as well. So let me open this up for you. So I had to make 20 of these cards. So here's the hybrid embossing folder. And then here are the dies. Again, you can use them together or use them separately. So here are the dies. So I want to show you how you use this hybrid embossing folder. So if you look at this large leaf that I have on here, you can see, can you see that beautiful embossed detail on those leaves? And that it's also die cut. So it's really interesting how this works, okay? So what you do is you take this piece right here and you're gonna line it up with the die cut pieces, the same shapes that are on the embossing folder on the side that has the Stampin' Up logo on it, okay? So when you line it up, you'll see it just kind of sits in there. It kind of has an edge to it, a raised edge, and that die just lays really nicely on top of there, okay? So then you just take a piece of paper, and if you wanted to cut out all 3 leaves, you could, but for my swap, I just focused on that largest leaf. So I only focused on having paper big enough, let me get that out of the way, to cover that one die cut that I wanted, okay? So I'm gonna flip this down, flip it over, and I'm gonna run it through my die cutting machine just like that, okay? So I've left myself a little more room today between my camera and my workspace here. So I can show you that you just, hold on, I need to get my right plates. I don't have the right plates here. So since this is a 3D embossing folder with the die, we're gonna use the number 1 plate and the number 4 plate. Those are the only 2 plates we're using. And I'm gonna stick this in right like that with the die and the embossed piece in place. Gonna run it through, and I always run it through and back. I don't know about you guys. Do you run it just one way or do you run it through? I always go backwards and forwards and backwards, however you want to look at it. All right, so let me put this aside for just a second. Okay, so you can see that when this is die cut out, that leaf that I was wanting, it gives such a cool detail to that die. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. So, so pretty. So that is if you're using the die and the embossing folder together. It's called a hybrid embossing folder. Now, if you wanted to, you could just put a piece of paper in here, take it to the die cutting machine right here, and you could just use the embossing folder to emboss. Okay, so when you use the embossing folder just to emboss, you get this beautiful background of leaves that have this awesome embossing built right into it, okay? Or you can also use the dies just as a die. So if I wanted to take, sorry, I got all, hi Sherry, thanks for joining me. So if you wanted to though too, if you wanted just to stamp the leaf and die cut it out, you could just take that stamped leaf design, stamp it like that. That's gorgeous, isn't it? Can you guys see that? Let me see if I can pan a little closer so you can see. Isn't that awesome? Just stamped alone, it's very pretty. And then you would just use the die alone without the embossing folder. I would put it on right like that. I think I would get a piece of tearing tape to hold that in place. Let me see if I can find that here, right here. There we go. And you could run it through by just die cutting the leaf out. So just gives you so many options. You can die cut and emboss at the same time. You can just die cut if you want. Here, I'm going to turn this way. You guys can't see that because I panned close. Here, let me pan out here. There we go. So I'm going to make sure that's lined up the way it should be. The stem is on there. Here, I got it shifted a little bit when I laid it on my plate. There we go. So I'm just going to run this through. And now I've just die cut out that stamped image, okay? So those are the things. It just gives you more creative options, I think, to be able to emboss and die cut, or just emboss or just die cut. So any of those options are great with our hybrid embossing folder. So now this set is called Changing Leaves, and it will not be available to customers until July the 8th, okay? But I think you should get it. It's an awesome stamp set and hybrid embossing folder. Here, let me pan back closer again. There we go. So that's the embossing folder by itself. This is the embossing folder with the die, and this is with the die alone. Okay, so it gives you so many options. Now, I want to point out something to you on the Seaside Wishes. This is one of the cards I will be doing next month in my craft along. And what a craft along is going to be, it's just like my regular Facebook Live, but you have the option to pre-order all the parts for the cards I'm making and get over $20 worth of products so that you can craft along with me. So this is one of the cards we're making, and I don't know if you can tell that sand dollar is a white piece of paper, and it looks like it's been inked here perfectly around those edges. So I'm going to show you how they did that, or how we did that. Okay, so we're going to die cut and emboss at the same time, okay? Like I said, this piece is going to go on here. You will feel it kind of snap into place right there. I'm going to pull this out a little bit. There we go. Okay, and you could die cut out that sand dollar with white paper, and it would come out totally white because, you know, it doesn't change pink by itself. Or this is a really cool technique I want to show you. You can take some pink ink. That's what we're using on the card we made. Take some pink ink. I'm using our new Pretty in Pink. And on the side that has the logo, you're going to ink it up. Right, like that. Then you'll put the die cut piece on it. Right, like that. Get it to snap into place here if I can get it lined up correctly. I'm trying to avoid getting too much ink on my fingers. There we go. Take your piece of paper, lay it right on top, smush it all together, and we're going to run this through our die cutting machine with the embossing folder platform number 1 and number 4. Hi Jenny, thanks for joining me. I'm showing them hybrid embossing folders today. All the things that you can do with them. And then a little tip for cutting out detailed dies. Okay, so now, looky here, you guys. Now, there's pink ink on those sand dollars. It just gives some color to the sand dollars. Isn't that cool? How fun is that? and the big one here, so that ink transfers into the embossed part of those sand dollars. Yes, super fun, right? Okay, I'm going to put this off to the side, and I'm going to show you two other cards that use this hybrid embossing folder that I'm going to use for my craft along. This one is just cut and embossed in basic beige, and then this one, they just use that embossing folder in the background. Isn't that cool? To create just a background with the embossing folder like I showed you before. So this one uses both the dies in the embossing folder. This one uses just the embossing folder, and these came from using the embossing folder but inking up one side to add a little color to our sand dollars. So super fun. I hope you guys love that as much as I do, because I think it's a really fun kind of extension to our creativity and adds lots of possibilities. Okay, so one last thing I want to show you. When I was die cutting, let me switch out my plates here. When I was die cutting these leaves right here on this card for my swap, sometimes all those little pieces can just get annoying. You have to poke them out, and it takes some time to get all those little pieces out. I'm going to show you a shortcut. So we're going to let me grab those leaf dies from my other dies over here. It was this one right here and this one right here. Okay. And I used early espresso, but for today we're going to use this crushed curry because that's what I have right here. So what we're going to do, let me zoom out a little bit here. Okay. What we're going to do is I'm going to get a piece of dryer sheet. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This dryer sheet came from, and I don't use it very much because this is a scented one. I would highly recommend that if you're going to do this, I mean, they smell good and they'll make your card smell, but some people are allergic to scented fabric softeners. So if you care about the people you're sending the card to, you probably should get unscented. Okay, so I'm going to put down my base plate, a clear plate, a piece of this fabric softener sheet, a piece of cardstock, my dies, okay, right like that, and then the next plastic platform, clear plastic number 3 platform. I'm going to roll it through. And if you're doing a whole bunch of these very detailed pieces, oh my gosh, this can save you so much time. Okay, so now let's hope the magic happened. When I pull this up like this, you'll see, let me try to zoom in a little bit so you can see a little bit closer. You see that those leaves have kind of stuck to that fabric sheet, and we can pull them up. Let me get my scissors here. Pull them up, and it's kind of like magic. Look. Most of those little pieces stay right there on that fabric softener sheet, and this pulls out perfectly clean. Isn't that cool? So I'm going to do the same thing with this side. Sometimes they stick into the dies and leave all the little pieces, and sometimes you got to kind of pull it. So here we go. It pulls right up, and look, all those little pieces stick to that dryer sheet. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so that can be a big time saver when you have these little intricate dies like these leaves were right here. So I'm going to put everything away. I hope you like that tip. I think it's kind of a fun one. I've been using it a lot because I've been doing a lot of swaps that have detailed dies in them. So again, one last time, if you want to get the Mediterranean Blooms online class to go, and you will make 2 of each of these cards with a kit that I send you at home, you have to put in a $35 order to my Tuttle Up shop. Let's see if I can find that little one here. There we go. Go to the Tuttle Up shop and place your order of $35 or more, and I will send you a kit to make to each of these 3 cards. So I hope you loved the Tuttle tips today. If you enjoyed it, please share it out to your friends and tell them about me. I'm going to upload this to YouTube, and I am needing YouTube subscribers so that I can do more with my YouTube's videos. I'd love to be able to stream directly into YouTube, but I need some more followers. So if you would go to Tuttle Up Stamping on YouTube and subscribe and like my YouTube page, I would really appreciate that. That would help me a lot. So God bless everybody. I'll see you here on Monday with another Facebook Live online class to go. So God bless. We'll see you next week.